Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I hide, my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their palms would bleed, begging that generations remember our story.
Yo, yo, yo. What's good, what's good, what's good? Peace and blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. If you are alive, if you are active and presently here with me, that means that God woke you up and allowed you to see one more morning, one more sunrise, and hopefully one more sunset. I would like to extend my gratitude to each and every single one of you for your extended periods of time spent with me here and on other platforms. I want to give a shout out to my poets. I want to give a shout out to Nikki that I see actually pulled up in the building. I appreciate that. Thank you for spending a little time with your brother. We're going to get down to some real unadulterated, unfiltered conversation. I got a clip I'm gonna be playing for y'all in a second. This gentleman that I'm about to put up here on the screen, he's been all over YouTube, and I mean literally all over YouTube for the last few weeks. He's been cooking and he's been saying some real shit, and I want to extend my my perspective on something that he brought up. You know, me and a couple of people had a conversation, but it was kind of brief about this earlier. I didn't really share any of my views on it because I wanted to wait until I got up here to officially put it out there. So if you're not sensitive, cool, get comfortable. If you're sensitive, this ain't the place for you, because I don't really hold my tongue back when it comes to these type of discussions at all. Shout out to my writers, poets, constant creators. I got to make sure I do that. Shout out to Rob, shout out to Sydney, shout out to Jason. All love wherever y'all guys at right now. I hope you're doing good. Oh, also, I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to Honolulu, out to Hawaii, out to that entire coast over there, man. They've been issued a warning after an 8.6 earthquake hit, and a tsunami is supposed to be making its way there. So, like, my thoughts and prayers go out to them. I don't know how or what can be done, my only advice would be to get to as high of a ground as you possibly can. Don't worry about your possessions and all that. Get your loved ones, get anybody that is in your neighborhood that can't move by themselves. Make sure you do everything that you possibly can to get out of harm's way as much as possible. That being said, though, let me bring something on the screen for y'all. This brother name is Jeff James. He's a black therapist. Like I said, he's been on multiple platforms and he talks about relationships, so on and so forth. In this clip, he brought up something that I thought was interesting. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let me get this up here on the big screen. All right. Now, like I said, if you're sensitive, go ahead and bow out gracefully. It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. But if you really want to hear what he has to say and what I'm going to go ahead and just get you something to drink, snack on, kick back. Just go into this work morning, this work day with some clarity. That being said,
I noticed this pattern with women coming in and out of relationships, in and out of relationships, in and out of relationships, and most of them are always the ones that's initiating the breakup. And a lot of times it's about cheating. And I'm saying, wait a minute. And I'm talking to them one-on-one. And I'll say things like, wait, let me get this straight. You don't want the man that most women don't want to ignore. You don't want to date women. You don't want to stay by yourself. You only want to date the men that all other women are also attracted to and want. And you keep leaving him every time he does the thing that attracted you, which is messing around with other women. And I asked them this simple question. If you had to choose between one man and giving him 20 choices or 20 men and giving them one chance, which would you choose? Woman after woman after woman. I don't tolerate cheating. First or second time, I'm done. And then my argument is, wait a minute, that's how you're building the body count. That's how people like Pearl and people in Black Pill are calling y'all whores and all this other stuff. It's actually because you want the freedom to choose and you want the freedom to leave, but you don't want to deal with the consequences that comes with constantly going from man to man to man. You don't want to deal with the labels. You don't want to deal with the stigma. You don't want to deal with the judgment. I noticed this pattern with women.
all right, you heard it. Now let me ask you a question. Can I be honest? And I'm going to be as blunt as possible. And I say this all with love. I really do. I have nothing against not a single soul when I say any of what I'm about to say. Men and women who decide to explore the dating pool, there's two types. There's one side of the world where the men and women, they practice self-discipline. They hold on to values and morals that was installed in them by their family. There's things that's instinctively built inside of them that won't allow them to degrade themselves in a way that would have variations of different people in and out of their life. They're not going to let sex or hypergamy dictate their purpose, their calling, the direction they're trying to go in. They're not going to allow a number of different people coming in and out of their life to alter their personality. See, when you're dealing with different people and you're out here pretty much playing Russian roulette with your health, with your spiritual health, it comes with headaches, it comes with depression, it comes with control, it comes with low self-esteem, it comes with abandonment issues, it comes with trauma bonding, it comes with patronizing, it comes with stereotyping, the things that come attached with individuals that you really don't know all that well brings you a mixed bag of problems that you might not necessarily understand until you're actually intertwined with them people. And the reason why I say there's two different types of men and women out here in the world is because you have some who say fuck dating, fuck relationships, marriage, all that. And they're not saying fuck it because they don't want love and they don't want a partner. They're not rejecting the idea of a family or having a nuclear household. They're rejecting social norms. They're rejecting the opinions and the views of a people who worship their cell phone, they worship shoes, they worship clothes, they worship chains and necklaces and cars. The world that depends on the definitions of politicians and celebrities to validate the success that they have. Those people don't give a shit about relationships. They understand. They see the world through a more broader lens than the other side. And I'm going to get to the other side in a second. Remember what I said, there's two different sides. There's two different versions of men and women out here. The men and women I'm addressing right now, they're the practical ones. They just want to work, exercise, eat healthy, get in shape, get their spiritual houses in order, recover, heal, take care of their loved ones, figure out what it is exactly that God wants them to do. They don't look at life as a board game. Like all we're just here to do is be leisure, be lackadaisical, and kind of just skip through the everyday, just getting by, and that's it. They want something of permanent substance. The way that they value things is completely different than the other side. You deal with a practical man or a woman, they need reciprocity. They need commitment. They need communication. They need transparency. They need honesty. You can't fucking be in and out of your inner self expecting someone who is stable to want to tolerate or deal with your instabilities. That's not going to happen. A practical man or a woman, they're too focused on making sure that they aren't broke. They're too worried about where their spiritual essence is going to end up when they die, what legacy they're going to leave behind when this life is over. They're more concerned about pleasing God and getting right with Him and building a relationship with Him first, versus trying to please everybody on this planet. They love the people, but they understand what it is to dip your feet in the world and dip your feet in the spiritual aspect of it. Now, let me go ahead and flip it. Let's talk about the other side, right? Let's talk about the other people, men and women. And that's why I got to be clear. It's not a man-woman thing. but he addressed women specifically because of what I'm about to say. Y'all like to blur the lines and put something on one specific type of person when actually both sides do the same shit. The other side of the spectrum, these men and women, they have nothing going on with their life. They have no direction. They have no purpose. They don't understand doctrine. They don't understand word. They're miserable. They're confused. They're lost. They're misinformed. They believe everything that social media tells them. They listen to every single opinion and view that is put on Google. They listen and agree with every single thing that someone says that could be wrong, but because they're attracted to them, they're accepted. These type of people on this other side of the spectrum don't believe in God. They don't really truly believe in anything for real. The only thing that they believe in is what the hell they want to believe in. And what they believe in is that their rules, their laws. They believe that they can be healed from anything. They believe that the world is the answer and has the medicine that can sharpen their tools. The world is the medicine that's going to provide them with the affirmations of success that they need. The world is going to provide them with the answers to all the tests on the piece of paper that's in front of them. The world is going to provide them with a sustenance that a invisible person cannot. Worldly people only care about sex, getting your nut off, money, getting the approval of everybody, and doing what the fuck you want. That's the bottom line. You don't have no direction. You don't know if you're an artist. You don't know if you're a good friend. You don't know if you're a good parent. You don't know that drugs are bad or good. This group of people, they just want to just be reckless, or they're just consistently dipping in and out of two different realities. You know right from wrong, but you still want to live the way you want to live. You got a side that's practical, and they see what this side is doing and what comes from it. Then you have this side, they don't grasp the idea of consequences and repercussions. They're the liars. They're the ones that expect you to accept them for being disruptive, entering into other people's spaces, siphoning off of them, causing chaos and destruction. And then once you've extracted everything that you can get out of that person, then you exit and go on about your life. This side of the world, they like to get trains ran on them. They like to sleep with the same genders. They're bullies. They're trolls. They're everything that this side isn't. Which is why we have the T app. Which is why we have TikTok. This is why we have IG. This is how we have YouTube. This is why we have social media, Fox 5, Channel 7. We have all these different platforms that report death, drugs, all that shit that you see that people are talking about. It's because you have two different sides of the spectrum existing in the same world. These women, if it don't apply to you, I don't want to hear it. These women, they the biggest hoes in the world. I said this before. These women are so lost and so confused. They don't know themselves. Like if a woman or a man really knew themselves, you would not be sleeping with multiple people every single time you got the urge to experiment. Every time you got bored, you wouldn't be getting a divorce. You wouldn't be confused or doubting what type of man you're supposed to be with. You wouldn't be confused about the differences between a Chad and Tyrone. You wouldn't be confused about what a good guy looks like versus what a fucking dickhead looks like. Y'all lost. Y'all delusional as shit. Y'all swear that you can't be corrected or you can't be told any fucking thing. The reality of it is you ain't got shit to figure out. You just swear. You done. You got the science, you got the notoriety, you got the credibility. Everybody admonishes you, kisses your ass. No one tells you no. No one corrects you and says, nah, this ain't what it is. You are a fucking piece of shit. You are delusional. You need counseling. You need therapy. You opening your legs to everybody. Why are you doing that? Why are you putting yourself on the internet the way you are? Why are you making yourself look foolish? Why are you embarrassing women? Why are you embarrassing children? Why do you have these little girls dressing and becoming sluts like you are? Why do you get on camera and present yourself to be something that you know damn well back in the 60s and the 70s would have got your ass ostracized from the rest of the community? Why? Why are you like that? Yeah, because the family aspect of this shit has completely been destroyed. People are not really families anymore. You're not raising your kids or your loved ones in the ways that you're supposed to. You're lying to them. You're letting them cuss. You're letting them have sex early on at fucking 12, 13-year-old. Like y'all touching on kids, you're doing all types of perverted shit. This is that side of the spectrum. This side of the spectrum, you got perverts, you got lustful demons, you got people who just don't give a shit about anything, man. Nothing is lawless. Everything over here is lawless. And when you're lawless, you're susceptible to sin, to violence, to drugs, to anger, to bitterness, to being petty, to being spiteful. You don't know how to regulate your emotions. You don't know how to walk away from confrontations. You don't know how to tell the difference between the quality and quantity within a man or a woman. So what do? You soak in the information that is being dispersed all over the internet from various sources that have had successes in different parts of life that work for them, and you're trying to figure out how to apply the system that worked for them to you. Take this battery out of here. I know this shit about to stop. I'm not about to do that. Y'all don't have a side. You haven't chosen a side. You're kind of like, is God real? Is he fake? Is heaven real? Is heaven fake? Is good and evil real, or is it fake? Um, I want to be better, but I like being a fucking hoe. I like sticking my dick in everything that I see. I like opening my legs to various penises. Maybe this, maybe this nigga dick ain't for me. Maybe I need to sample someone else's. Or maybe he's not fun enough. He's too boring. So I gotta go and experiment with somebody else. You don't know nothing about conflict resolution. You don't understand soul ties is real. You don't even understand you lay down with people, but they lay down with somebody before you. Sounds simple. It just sounds like, oh, it's just sex. Everybody has sex. Well, this is what you're not factoring in. Everybody might be, a large majority is. We're not talking about the minority. a large majority of people are out here having sex, yes. However, they had sex with other people before you. You do know that, right? Also, because you dismiss the spiritual side of it, you don't understand that the people that they laid down with before you, they probably were crazy. They probably were possessive. They probably were liars, manipulators, abusers. The people that they laid down with before they had some shit with them, so on and so forth. You take a bit of everybody that the person before you got. It's a cycle that gets passed on from person to person. You think that you just sleeping with this woman or this man. You see a body right here, they're attractive, they got money, they this, they that, they whatever. But you ain't taking into consideration that this person that you're laying down with laid down with somebody that probably stabbed somebody, or somebody who was crazy, or a stalker or something. So as soon as you start laying down with these people, all the iniquity, all the sin, all of the dirt, all of the mental anguish, all of the crap that they carried from a prior relationship or one night stand, all of that shit transfers over to you. What my man was talking about here in this video is how a woman will pick and choose who she allows to get over doing her dirty. So put it this way. If a guy is 100% the archetype of man that you are into, I'm going to be completely clear here. If you're into this dude, and let me include this, and you don't have a fucking backbone, you don't know who you are as a woman in Christ, by the way. Fuck the world. If you don't know who you are as a woman in Christ, and your body, your mind, all of that is connected to being driven solely by flesh, that guy that you're attracted to and he check off all the boxes, you're going to allow him to do whatever the fuck he wants. He's the one that's going to get away with doing shit to you because you don't know yourself. And when you don't know yourself, you're more likely to put up with things that you wouldn't have if you were on this side of the spectrum. These are the women that y'all call pick me. These are the ones that y'all say be sucking up and kissing ass and they want a husband. I thought that was the goal. I thought the whole idea was to get a husband, someone of substance, someone that was actually living according to the ways that you're supposed to. I thought that was the actual mission. But no, everybody on this side of the spectrum, you're confused and you're lost. And when you don't really know yourself, you put up with things that you wouldn't if you already were together. Now, let's say that same woman who didn't know herself was dealing with somebody that was a regular worker. He gets a paycheck. He drives a decent vehicle. He has his own place. but he doesn't do the things of the typical secular man does. I have to break this down for y'all. So, ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, because I understand these platforms don't really be going into detail with shit like this. I got to do it. A woman of God does not deal with Chads and Tyrones. All right. And let me go a little further. You could be a sinner and then come out of that sin and change your life around and become a woman of God and still end up having principles, morals, values. Anybody on these red pill channels that tell you there's no coming back from being a 304 is absolutely a fucking lie. Anybody who is walking in darkness or walking in sin can turn their life around. Anyone, I don't care who you are. Nothing is impossible through Jesus Christ. The only people who limit or puts limitations on someone's transformations or their ability to transform are people who are stuck in a limbo. You are imprisoned by your own mental and spiritual prison. God doesn't put limitations on us. We put limitations on us. Matter of fact, we put limitations on God. We put limitations on Jesus and what he can do in us through us. That's why I don't listen to anybody who tell me, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, because you're not God. You're not Jesus. You don't have any say so or control over what's for me and what's not for me. Only he does. He says yes or no. And if it's yes, you can't stop that. If he says no, it's not for me. That's what I put my eye on. I don't give a shit about nobody else's point of view about nothing in regards to my walk. You're either walking with me or you're going in a direction that is for you to go so that you can figure out your own shit. I ain't judging you. Don't judge me. Women who are recovering or they fought. All right, put it this way: women and men who have gone through hell, you are the worst of the worst. If God found you and brought you out and you turned your life around, you have every right to still want what the hell you want. Because guess what? God is the one who has the final say. So if he says he's happy with you, he's grateful that you changed your life and you came out of the darkness that you was in, and he wants to give you a wife or a husband or whatever it is that you are venturing off into, that is for you. Now, if you're someone who is lukewarm and you keep staying in the same cycle that you was in and you ain't got no desire to change or do anything different than what you've been doing, that's on you too. Everybody got their own decisions. Stop telling people on the internet that these folks are irredeemable. If they're irredeemable, they're irredeemable. But who's to say that a adult star can't be redeemable? Who's to say a prostitute can't be irredeemable? A murderer. The Bible talks about murderers and all kinds of heinous people changing their life. It's very possible. So if you want to stay limited into your own thinking, go ahead. But I refuse. Now let me get back to what I was talking about. A woman who don't know herself and she's still straddling the fence. Straddlers, I would advise you stay away from straddlers. That goes for men and women. Straddlers, they will never be able to provide you what you are looking for. Friendships, partnerships, business, any of that. They will never be able to give you what you need because they can't even give themselves what they need. Why? Because a part of them still wants to be in the world, and the other part of them is trying to be obedient. But see, the flesh always seems to have a way to keep people in bondage. You're really your biggest enemy. So when my man was up here talking about a woman will give one man 20 chances, he's referring to the guy who likes to fuck, the guy who has options, the guy who every woman wants. Every woman is attracted to him. Which is funny to me because, you know, as attractive as a man or a woman is, that person can be Jeffrey Dahmer. That man could be, or that woman could be Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion got an innocent man put in jail. But the world ignores that. They don't. Most people just kind of forgot about it or said fuck it. But I'm looking at the character, and it's like, my guy, Jeffrey Dahmer was sleeping with men and killing men and eating their bodies and shit. And this woman is a black woman, specifically being a representation of other black women in society. Nobody sees a problem with the fact that she is actually doing the complete opposite of protecting black men. People who straddle the fence are unreliable. You can't trust them. I had to learn that the hard way. You can't depend on them to pick up the phone. You can't depend on them to take care of you when you're sick. I just uploaded a video. Shout out and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. The woman divorced her husband because he had cancer. He was sick. She waited until after he was in remission, divorced him, and then tried to blame it on abuse. But this nigga was the one that was fighting for his life. So, ladies, y'all sit up here and you try to act like you ain't just been out here sleeping around with people. I don't know what type of women y'all is, man. Y'all ain't no better than dudes. You want the real, raw, honest truth. A dude who ain't really locked in with nobody and Christ isn't prevalent in his life and he's mainly worldly. I can give you this perspective because I was in that position before. I wanted to fuck somebody different every day during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I wanted somebody different every single day. Now, depending on which one had the best box, she would probably get Monday, Tuesday, or she might get the Wednesdays. The Wednesday, or the weekends. The weekends will typically be for the one who had the better personality. I had more fun with them, and the sex was good. During the week, I needed variety because I just love the female anatomy. I couldn't have enough of different varieties, light skin, dark skin, Asian. I don't give a shit. Long as you curvy, you got a nice little body on you. Yeah, it's on. It's on and popping. From Monday all the way to Sunday, depending. I had a spot for different ones. And it wasn't nothing personal against women in general. It was just the fact that once you start having sex, you want to keep having sex. The orgasm alone is addictive. Just even being in that exercise, man, it's a thrill. It's like being addicted to cigarettes, but it's better than cigarettes. And ladies are just like that. That's my whole point of saying any of that shit. There's women who are just like that. Y'all you just addicted to dick. You ain't really necessarily trying to find anything serious. Y'all just throwing caution to the wind. But you're not gonna own up to it. Nobody wants to tell the unadulterated truth. I said it at the beginning. There's two different spectrums here. There's the practical men and women over here, and then it's this side. There's two different sides. The practical people know that you fucking with 20 different people are probably going to get you shot, probably going to get you locked up. It's probably going to get you fired from your job. You're going to be stuck with somebody for 18 years. Child support, baby mamas, broken windows, headaches, all that shit. The practical side already saw the future dealing with you fucking idiots. What y'all think is fun ain't fun. What you think is innocent and liberating to them, that's a snare. That's a trap. The shit is designed and set up to keep your ass miserable, broken, spiritually sick, and you're never going to be fulfilled. And that's exactly why when he said you'll give one person 20 chances. Matter of fact, scratch what I said. He said you'll give 20 different people a chance. 20, listen to that shit. You'll give 20 different men one opportunity to get that shit right. But you'll give that one person 20 different chances. And I had to really sit in that shit. Like, man, let the computer just kind of go off in my brain for a second. Like, really, really think about that shit. "20 different men, one chance." That means that you have no control over your vagina. You have no control over your mouth. You have no control over your emotions. You have no sense of purpose. Your identity is shot. So let me get this straight. You fuck this person. All right. I told you this was gonna be raw, right? All right, I'm gonna keep it a whole, but it's early though. This should have been like a late night type of drink, but fuck it. So this is how a lot of ladies be thinking for real, but they ain't gonna say the shit. They meet a guy, they're attracted to him, they fuck him the first day, right? So they fuck him the first day. He was cute, but the dick was trash. The sex was trash. but they only fucked him because they was attracted to him. But they found out that the dick was trash, so they're not gonna fuck with him no more because the dick was trash. So you're already eliminated. Now she's unsatisfied with his sex. She has to get fulfilled. You cannot leave women unfulfilled. If she doesn't get her nut off, she's gonna find a way to get her nut off. It's no different than when a dude be like, "Man, I gotta get my shit off. I don't care how. I have to get it." So he fails to do what he's supposed to do, even though she was attracted to him. So what she does is she gets on the phone. She starts computing in her head, damn, who else do I have that I can hit up that I know is actually going to get me where I need them to get me? She calls them up. Now that person probably ain't even shit. She probably know that, man, this nigga ain't really somebody to really be locking in with. But he's absolutely going to get me where I need to go. Let me go ahead and hit him up. She hit him up. They do what they do. She get exactly what she wanted out of it. But he broke. He can't pay for her lifestyle. His personality is one of the main things that allows her to be the type of freak that she is. So, like, you weigh the options. He does just enough to get her by, but he's not somebody that she can really take serious. So she keeps him on this rotation. So what happens? She can't settle with him. So now she has to go through a long list of men who have either already been friend zoned or she just met these dudes. Now she has the quest of trying to figure out if she can do something with the friend zone guy. She might risk it. She might just try it out, just out of curiosity. But it doesn't really equate. It doesn't balance out. So she lets him smash. She regrets it. Wish she would have kept him in the friend zone. That's another body. That's out the way. So she has to keep on moving on to the next person, and the next person, and the next person, until at the end of the day, she done slept with all of these people for different reasons. She might sleep with you because you got good sex. She might sleep with that person because she was curious if he had good sex. She might sleep with this person because she knows that the nigga is dealing with somebody else that she don't like and she wants to be spiteful. She might sleep with this person because he's the owner of a multi-million-dollar platform or he's an NBA player. Y'all be doing shit that y'all think we don't know you're doing, and then you want to get on the internet and cry about it when you get exposed. Wonder why you're unhappy. Wonder why your mental is all fucked up. Wonder why you're confused about what you like and what you need and don't need. Confused about why we have these type of conversations. Confused about why men are leaving the country to go deal with folks that are more solid and more sound, and they're not like all over the place. Like, come on, man. We know what's going on, ladies. We know how you are. We know exactly how you are. A nigga will sleep with you and be the side chick for 5 years and he won't give two shits about that. Why? Because it's free pussy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I didn't make up the rules. This is what happens when you live secular. when all you think about is superficial shit. This is what happens when you don't look at a man for what he really is and what he offers and what he represents. This is what happens when you don't know who you are as a woman. You walk this big ass earth and think that your life and everything attached to you holds value based on the perception of the outside world. Social media, someone gives you 20,000 likes, 80 million comments. You automatically assume that you're Queen Latifah, that you're a Hollywood superstar, that you're this Egyptian emperor, empress. Social media be having y'all thinking that you're something that you're not. You get treated the way that you are internally. Everything that you are on the inside reflects your relationships, reflects your habits, your hobbies, your destination, the people that you lay down with, wake up next to, all that. So the back and forth that y'all having on the T app and y'all have on TikTok and all these social media platforms, all of this shit is attributed to one thing: the fact that you don't know who you are, you live for the world, and you live by your own set of rules. Because if you decided that you were going to live uprightly and by doctrine, you wouldn't have slept with none of the people that you lay down with. But you got introduced to a feeling and an emotion that you can't get rid of. Y'all just as carnal as men are. And men ain't no different. We see the target, we see the opportunity. And I tell you, I've known females, and I've had conversations with my boys that I thought were, but in reality they were just a season in life. And I've had conversations with them, and they would tell me about how they ran a train on this person, or all they had to do was get some liquor and some alcohol, and it was easy. I've heard too many stories. I've been a part of scenarios where the word of mouth would get you access to that same woman that they had already had. I've literally done it. I've known people who had slept with chicks that I had slept with first, and then there were chicks that they had slept with. I ain't got no problem with being transparent. I had a past, I had a life before this shit. I ain't saying it was the best one, but you need to hear it. Because when y'all get up here and y'all be talking that bullshit on these on these pages, trying to be a guru and give out advice, but you ain't really being honest about your history. Niggas like me, men like me, we already done probably had sex with you and everything, busting your mouth, titty fucked you, all that shit. Facts. You weren't whoever you are now. You weren't that person then. I applaud you if you're no longer that person. But don't sit up here and act like you don't have a seated past, man. Acting all pure and innocent. The only way that flies as if actions support it. If you're really a changed man or woman, your actions going to have to show for it. Otherwise, you just talking. So my man was cooking. He was absolutely telling the truth. I ain't mad at nothing he said at all. The only reason, and this is fucked up, the only reason the one dude would get a million chances is because that's who she really wanted. That nigga can step out and sleep with 20 different people. She'd get on the phone with the simp, the friend zone guy, and cry to him all day. But as soon as you get off the phone with the guy that's in the friend zone, you right back to sucking that nigga off. And then you'll end up crying about that same dude again. Fellas, man, if you in the friend zone, get the fuck out, leave. Just go on about your life. Find you somebody who's going to give you the same type of respect that she gives this nigga. Because, yeah, that ain't it. She don't fuck with you for real. She don't like you. And the thing that's really twisted about it is the dude that she gives a million chances to, she know he ain't shit. But she knows she's not really shit. So hold up. Let's just keep it all the way funky here. All the way funky.
Bang, 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 bang.
Any woman who deals with somebody who ain't really showing them that they're the center of their life or they're a part of their purpose, you know you ain't shit. And I have a theory. I think that people who ain't shit just pretty much deal with people who ain't shit. I'm starting to really come to that conclusion. Because money don't really mean that you're a quality human being. I don't really associate a decent person or a good, loving, God-fearing person with money. A person who is poor can have way more than a person that has $1 million in their account. I really think that people who aren't shit sleep with people who aren't shit. Sounds kind of fucked up, don't it? It kind of sounds like I'm tearing down a person. I'm not really doing that. I think what I'm really getting at here is when you don't know yourself and you're in the world, you deal with other people who are living in the same space that you are. Maybe I should have just said it like that. Which kind of makes more sense. Because if your values and your morals and the things that make a foundation stand is based on how much I can spend on you and how many people adore me and admire me and lift me up and put me on a pedestal, if that's what you're relying on, that's how you're going to move and that's how you're going to operate. That's how you're going to treat people. So I really wholeheartedly think that people who live in the world deal with people who live in the world. That's why there's so many diseases. That's why there's a TAP. That's why y'all can't find a husband at 65 years old. You 50, 40 years old, still wondering, why don't nobody love me? Why can't I find this? I hate you. I hate all men. All you men ain't shit. All y'all this, all that.
How dare you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're playing for a certain side. What else is there to say? You're living a certain way, and the way that you live will ultimately determine what you get in return. So if you want to be out here and you want to indulge in the things of the world, you're going to be met equally with the things that the world comes with. And what does the things of the world come with? That's absent of the Holy Spirit. When there's good, there's bad, correct? So I ain't really trying to hear nothing unless you're actually going to take a few minutes out of your day and be honest about how you got to where you are. Don't put everything on the next man when you were a willing participants in the nature in which you fell victim to it. You're not a victim, you are a participant. Everything that look good ain't for you, but you know that. Most people already know this. You just decide to go ahead and venture off into it because that's what your flesh wants. Everybody got that little voice in their head that say, nah, this ain't it. No, but you ignore it because you want what you want. And that is why your body counts end up being as high as they are. Tell me if I said anything incorrect. Women that live worldly do the same thing that worldly men do. There are no in betweens. I don't care about the numbers or the statistics. Men and women do the same things. They go to hell for the same things, most of. Nobody gets treated differently in the eyes of the creator. We're biased amongst each other. He doesn't operate the way that we operate. I digress. So I want you to do me a solid. Take the bottle out of your mouth. Stop listening to Princella the Queen Maker, Joy Taylor, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B. I want you to take all of these little fake little motivational speakers. Try the spirit by the spirit. Put their logic to the test. If what they're saying is true, go ahead and put their theory to the test. Like, you fact check everything. Go ahead and fact check whether or not these people are really being honest about who they are. Fact check to see if they're really the example that you say they are. If they're really leaders of black women and men and all that, go ahead and do the research. Pull up the Carfax. What does the resume say? Does this align with what healthy looks like? Does this align with what a normal household is supposed to reflect? Does this reflect a marriage? Does this reflect? Go ahead and really fact check that, and then come back. Y'all be dealing with dudes that you know ain't good for you because you know that you ain't being good to yourself, and you're not good to you, and you're not good to other people. If you knew better, you wouldn't be in that type of spot. A good woman knows a good man, man. A good woman will know how to treat a good man. There's no argument. There's no tug of war. I ain't gotta coerce you to love me, to call me, to cook for me, to rub my back, to take care of me when I'm sick, to know when I'm in anguish, to know when I'm going through. A good woman is not gonna abandon me because there's another guy that looks better than me or makes more than me. A good woman knows the difference between what's of the world and what's in the world. A woman or a man of God knows who is about spiritual life and who's about the fleshly life. There's two different worlds that we live in. That's why the fuck this shit is the way it is. You can't tell me nothing. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't have it both ways. You either want the good or you don't. You can't have the good and indulge in the bad shit too. Which one do you want the most? Do you want to keep on testing out these dicks and shit until what? Oh, I just want to have sex with as many men as I can until I'm too old to be fucking around and I ain't got the same desire. That's what it is. You want dick from every single dude that you can get it from while you still look good enough to get it. And then once you're not in that same space, then you want to go ahead and settle and give your worst years to a guy who didn't deserve to get that portion of you. And y'all, my final thoughts. Stop talking about the older you get, the better you are. That might be true if you ain't been out here ruining your spiritual vessel. If you ain't got all this DNA inside of your body from multiple people, if you ain't been distraught, destroyed, decimated, and dismissed by hundreds of dudes, yeah, you might be. But when you go through all of that shit in life, you got all of these different experiences and personalities and all that. That shit fuck you up. You'll never be the person that you was before that. No way you're gonna tell me you're better now than what you was before. Unless you completely just turn your life completely over. I know I said a lot. This is cool though. It's gonna be all right. I promise. It's not the end of the world. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. It might have to some people. It might not have. It's cool. I get it. But that was the bottom line. People pick and choose who they want to give their all to. Got categorized people, and then based on who's in what box, that's how you determine who you're going to treat a certain way. That makes you a piece of shit to me. And that's exactly why you'll never be really happy. And then you can lie to me and everybody else. You can't lie to yourself. It is what it is. Look, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I got another live later on, 7:00 p.m. We're going to be talking about Epstein. This is round 2. Shout out to Sydney. We definitely about to get it in. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Nikki, appreciate you for tapping in. If I missed anything, let me know. I'll spin back at another date and address some other stuff. But we up out of here, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Appreciate y'all for being in attendance. Cryptic Creed Paranormal drops tonight, 8:30.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their palms would bleed, begging that generations remember our story.